Most visitors think of Skagway as a charming gold rush town and the starting point of the White Pass Railroad. But just beyond the mountains lies one of the most scenic and surprising places near Alaska, Canada's Yukon Territory. On busy summer days, Skagway can welcome more than 10,000 cruise passengers. Yet within an hour, you can leave the crowds behind and find yourself surrounded by turquoise lakes, snow-capped mountains, wide open valleys, and some of the most spectacular scenery in North America. For many visitors, a trip to the Yukon becomes the highlight of their entire Alaska cruise. One of the most unique things about visiting the Yukon is that you're actually traveling into Canada. The journey follows the historic Klondike Highway, the same route used by prospectors during the Klondike Gold Rush of 1898. As you climb above sea level, the landscape changes dramatically. Dense coastal forests give way to alpine tundra, waterfalls, glaciers, and endless mountain views. Along the way, you'll cross the White Pass summit, pass through British Columbia, and eventually reach the Yukon Territory itself. No Skagway trip is complete without experiencing the legendary White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad. Built in 1898 during the Klondike Gold Rush, this narrow-gauge railway climbs nearly 3,000 feet above sea level while crossing trestle bridges, tunnels, and dramatic mountain scenery. The classic White Pass Summit Excursion offers spectacular views in just a few hours and remains one of the most popular experiences in Alaska. But travelers wanting to go farther can continue all the way to Bennett Lake. Once home to thousands of stampeders preparing for their journey to the Klondike goldfields, Bennett remains one of the most remote and historic destinations accessible by rail. While the train offers incredible views, many visitors prefer to explore the Yukon by road. Small group tours follow the Klondike Highway, where nearly every turn reveals another unforgettable landscape. One of the first highlights is Emerald Lake. Often called the most beautiful lake in the Yukon, its brilliant green color comes from glacial minerals suspended in the water, creating a scene that almost looks unreal. Continuing north, the scenery changes dramatically at Tormented Valley. This windswept landscape of weathered rocks and alpine terrain feels almost lunar and offers some of the most unique views along the route. Not far beyond lies one of the Yukon's biggest surprises, the Carcross Desert. Despite being known as the world's smallest desert, these unusual sand dunes are actually the remains of an ancient glacial lake. And just down the road, you'll arrive in the historic town of Carcross, once an important stop during the Klondike Gold Rush. Today, it's a quiet community filled with colorful buildings, local shops, and plenty of northern charm. Together, these stops are what make tours like the Yukon Discovery and Yukoner half-day tour so memorable. They offer countless opportunities for photos, wildlife sightings, and a chance to experience the vast landscapes that make the Yukon unlike anywhere else in North America. The Yukon isn't just about scenic drives. For travelers looking to get even closer to the landscape, there are plenty of ways to turn sightseeing into an adventure. For those who want to experience the mountain on two wheels, the White Pass Train and Bike Adventure offers an unforgettable descent back towards Skagway, with sweeping views around nearly every turn. Another option takes riders even deeper into Gold Rush history. The White Pass Klondike Bike Tour follows portions of the original route traveled by prospectors more than a century ago, offering a unique perspective on this rugged landscape. And if you'd rather trade the road for the trail, the Chilkoot Trail Hike and Float combines hiking and rafting into one incredible day. Walk through lush rainforest while learning about the famous Chilkoot Trail, once traveled by thousands of stampeders during the Gold Rush. Then board a raft and drift through the peaceful Taya River Valley. And while the tour itself stays near Skagway, continuing along the historic route beyond the pass would eventually lead you into the Yukon. Whether you're biking through mountain passes or floating beneath towering peaks, these active adventures reveal a side of Skagway and the Yukon that many visitors never get to experience. In a single day, you can cross an international border, follow the footsteps of Klondike gold seekers, stand atop White Pass, and discover landscapes that feel worlds away from the busy cruise port below. Whether you're riding the legendary White Pass Railroad, photographing Emerald Lake, or biking down the Klondike Mountain, every journey into the Yukon reveals another side of the North. And perhaps that's what makes it so special. The Yukon isn't about checking off a single attraction. It's about the feeling of leaving the crowds behind and watching the scenery change with every mile. For many travelers, what starts as a simple day trip becomes the highlight of their entire cruise. And long after you've returned to the ship, it's often the memories of wide open valleys, endless mountain views, and the road into the Yukon that stays with you the longest.